This is the White Street Loft, New York, 2004. If a street had seasons, White Street was early spring, too colorless, hardly sentimental, no budded touches, nothing risen but March, secular and cruel. To think she had lived on this street for almost 2 years when the plan had been to rent the loft for 6 months. Meanwhile, look around, buy, get permanent. Ah, what was she doing? Shaking her bag for the sound of her keys to get into the loft quickly. The space was dark, though known, and she ran through it to where the oven hood shone holy. Weirdly overheated, she ran cold water over her wrists. Too much excitement, she said aloud to herself, and felt the water sting and wondered if, when Ned came home tonight, she would tell him about Clive Harris calling. But why do that? G, remember G, but this was different. G was no more than a punk girl in a bed set, whereas Clive Harris, well, Clive Harris was older, established, a painter with a following. He came from money and had kept it. Think of James Merrill. James Merrill, a patrician poet of the last century, a relic, a classmate had said, although Isabel found him attractive. Those artists with their attendant wives, partners, mistresses, muses, observing summer's gyre in inherited homes on islands and coasts. That was the sweet life, wasn't it? James Merrill in a documentary wore a white bathrobe, or was it a kimono? The taut chords in his thin neck pulsed when he spoke in his aristocratic voice. To admit to being transported by the sound of his voice, was she elitist and out of date? Maybe, probably, but why tell Ned of Clive except to stir in him some feeling for her as at the beginning when anything was possible? Then, if he so much as caught her staring at him, the book she was reading no more than a fan, he often put down his own book and went to where she was sitting and put his head in her lap.